Welcome to sequence number 5. In this sequence, we introduce a new pose called Warrior 2. This pose requires specific positioning of our feet, legs, and torso, so we'll go ahead and practice that now. Join me in a high lunge position in the center of your mat. Remember that in high lunge, our front knee is directly over our front ankle. We're up high on our back toes, and our back knee is pressing back towards the back of our mat, creating this nice strong line. Place your hands on your hips and notice how they face the front of our mat. Next, I want you to slowly let your hips rotate towards the long edge of your mat. You'll notice that it's really hard to stay up on your back toes, and that's okay. I want you to let your heel rotate down so that your foot is in a flat position in this kind of diagonal. Place your hands back on your hips, and notice if your hips are straight across. That's where they should be right now, and if you're here, that's great. But many people find that they are falling into their front hip, closing up off this space right here. In order to avoid that, we can do a couple things. First, I want you to stand up nice and tall. Next, take your front hip and your front knee and push them forward a little bit in line with your knee. Next, I want you to take your belly button, pull it in strongly toward your spine. You might feel like your butt cheeks squeeze together a little bit here, and that's perfect. That's exactly what you want. You should notice now that there's a space right here where it used to be closed off. Place your hands back on your hips and make sure that they're nice and level. Let's go over those steps one more time because you can always use them to make sure that you're getting into Warrior 2 properly. If you find yourself leaned over your front hip, stand up nice and tall. Move your front hip and your front knee forward just a little bit in line with your toes, and tuck your belly button in towards your spine, squeezing your butt cheeks together. Place your hands on your hips to make sure your hips are nice and level. And finally, make sure your front knee isn't falling in towards the center of your body. Instead, you should be pushing it out so that it's always staying in line with your front toes. Once we've got our legs situated, raise your arms up to the front and back of your mat in line with your feet. You should be reaching strongly in either direction, almost like you're pulling yourself in two directions. This helps activate the strong muscles in your shoulders and your arms. Once we're here, we can gaze over the fingertips of our front hand. We should feel like our body is all in one line, almost like I could press you between two panes of glass, like a picture in a picture frame. Finally, what I want you to do is draw your feet together without actually moving your feet. You should feel all the strong muscles of your thighs start to heat up, nice and strong, and this pose might even get a little bit more challenging. Once you're here, congratulations, you've made it to the final pose for Warrior 2, and you're ready for sequence 5.